This episode of the Football Crazy podcast is brought to you by the letter C, the only letter that looks like a boomerang. Let's just hope the use of that letter doesn't come back to haunt us.
Is football crazy? Is football mad? That football had just taken away the little bit of sense he had. And it would take a dozen servants to wash his clothes and scrub, since Paul became a member of that terrible football club.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Football Crazy podcast. I am your host Jeffrey Gibson, and on today's episode I am going to be previewing the EFL trophy match between Sunderland and Manchester United under 21s. So I guess we better get on with it. Going into this game, Sunderland are 4th in League One, and they beat Lincoln City in their last game, and to be honest I don't think Lee Johnson and Sunderland will be too concerned about losing this game, as I think they are focusing on finally winning promotion back to the Championship this season. But with that being said, I would love to see us win, because I really want us to get back to Wembley to defend our title. Looking at the form of both of these teams, Sunderland are going into this game in the better form. And I strongly believe that this result will depend on who Lee Johnson chooses to play, as I think Lee Johnson will be playing a weaker side and resting his key players ahead of their game in League One against Gillingham on Saturday. It is rumoured that Lee Johnson is planning on playing mainly under 23s players for this game, which could see them being fined £5,000 by the EFL for doing so, which I find absolutely ridiculous. This match should have been pushed back because the majority of Sunderland's squad were on international duty, and need to be rested ahead of the Gillingham, and the fact the EFL could fine Sunderland for playing a weaker side is absurd. When it comes to predicting the final result of this game, I think it could end in a draw, even though I would love it if we got a win because that would put us through to the knockout rounds. That's it for this episode of the Football Crazy podcast. I do hope you have enjoyed listening to what I had to say. If you did, please feel free to like this, subscribe to the channel, or even share it. Man, I hated saying that. Anyway, I will be back on Saturday with the preview of the League One game between Gillingham and Sunderland. So until then, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this rather pointless podcast. Stay safe and enjoy the match.
Is football crazy? Is football mad? That football had just taken away the little bit of sense he had. And it would take a dozen servants to wash his clothes and scrub, since Paul became a member of that terrible